Hey, I'm Maggie Shane, and this is the Bliss Blog. Today's post, spelling bee-sums. Spelling bee-sums, as in spell brooms, little broomsticks, for specific magical uses. Acts of magic are acts of faith. They're whimsical and fun and creative. Yes, all of that is true. They're also powerful acts of directing our will to bring about the change we desire. And because of natural law, expression of power increases it. Magic is a use it or lose it proposition. Like a muscle, it becomes flaccid and weak without use. Frequent flexing makes it strong. And the best spells, remember, are always those we create ourselves. But feel free to use this one, this crafty broomstick making spell, as a jumping off point, and then personalize it with your own touches, or let it spark ideas for spells of your own. The witch's besom, or broomstick, is one of the standard magical tools. In my practice, it represents the element of air, and it's an instrument for clearing energy and transforming space. The witch traveling on her broomstick isn't moving physically from one place to another place, but rather the opposite. The space around her moves and changes while the witch remains still. The perception and the effect are exactly the same. The mechanism, though, is very different. In the first, I'm a passive passenger. In the second, I am creating change within, projecting it outward, and moving energetically according to my will. See how different? We can make and use small, wand-sized broomsticks for specific magical purposes. This magic packs a double whammy. By flooding our space with the green, fresh, flowing, fertilizing, growing, abundant energy of springtime, for example, a besom simultaneously breaks up the stale old energy that might be blocking that flow. So, step one in creating a broomstick, choose the wood. You'll need one wand-length branch. Choose a branch that has been dropped by the tree. Never cut one. Now, wand length is the distance from your longest finger to the crook of your elbow. For me, that's about 15 to 16 inches. Yes, I'm short. I have been called the wee witch. Now, the diameter of the branch is entirely up to you. Use what feels comfortable in your hand. The 9 sacred woods of witchcraft, which we traditionally burn in the witch's bonfire, are birch for rebirth and regeneration, creativity and fertility, healing and protection, enchantments and new beginnings. Rowan is for astral travel, personal power, success, protection. It's associated with the goddess Bridget, goddess of the forge, and of writers and poets, storytellers, and bards. Ash. This is for wisdom and divine knowledge, ocean magic, prophetic dreams, magical power, spiritual journeys, and it's associated with the gods, and specifically Odin. The alder. This opens intuition and psychic channels, developing your own connection and psychism. It's associated with air spirits and fairy magic. And willow, which is for magic and women's mysteries, menstrual cycles, watery things, protection from floods, healing, nurturing, growth of knowledge and understanding, intuition, divination, and psychism. It's associated with the moon. Hawthorn is the 6th of the 9 sacred woods. Hawthorn is for magic and men's mysteries, the force or projective side of energy. It's for decision-making, connections, professional connections, specifically the realm of the fae, cleansing, protection, defense, fertility, and happiness. The hawthorn is used in maypoles. Very phallic. The saying is, where hawthorn, oak, and ash grow together, fae are apt to be found. The seventh sacred wood is oak. Oak is for protection, strength, fertility, potency, healing, money, good fortune. The Oak King rules the summer months in Wiccan lore, and he is associated with, the oak is associated with leaders of the gods like Zeus, Thor, Jupiter. The eighth sacred wood is holly, which is a shrub, not a tree. The Holly King rules the winter months in Wiccan lore. And this tree's use is mainly associated with protection and defense, but also change and evolution, moving from one stage to the next, easier transitions, protection from lightning, luck, and dream magic. And the ninth of the sacred woods is hazel. Hazel is associated with magical wells and magical springs and the salmon of knowledge, dowsing and divination, luck, and granting wishes. Now there's a 10th sacred wood, elder. Elder be the lady's tree, burn it not, or cursed you'll be. Never burn elder. It's sacred to the goddess. I'd say that makes it rather hands-off. Other woods can also be used, such as maple, which is what I would choose for this particular exercise today. Maple represents strength, love, money, exorcisms, sweetness of life, long life. Apple represents magic, abundance, love, planting and harvest, healing, immortality. Pine represents purification, fertility, protection, cleansing, money energy, healing, longevity, eternal life, survival. It's evergreen, get it? And the poplar or the aspen tree represent astral projection, flying, money, eloquence, public speaking, and protection from thieves. Find a branch the tree has dropped that feels right to you. Leave an offering as an equal exchange of energy. I usually scatter some of our fertile compost over the roots. So once you've chosen your stick, cut it to the length you like, the distance again from the crook of your elbow to the tip of your forefinger. And now you need to choose the herbs that you want to use to form the business end of the broom. I like to use multiple different types of herbs to form the bristle end of the broom. Fresh herbs or dried herbs work, but if you can get long stems, this is what you need. You need long stems of the herbs to form the bristles. So if you can find them, get those. Better yet, grow them yourself or forage from the wild. For this spell, for increasing the flow of fertility and abundance in keeping with the spring, I might choose a maple branch and the following herbs. Mint for money, freshness, newness, clearing, cleansing, zinging, singing, purifying energy. Rosemary. Only goodness gets past her. She's powerful and strong, irresistible and seductive. She makes them want to give their all and lie at her feet, awaiting her command. Clover. The energy of clover is rich and green and abundant and lucky and wealthy and clean energy. It makes me think of endless renewable resources like that of a windmill or something that causes zero harm, massive good, and is self-perpetuating. That's clover. Sage. I grow a lot of sage. Sage is wisdom, calm, confident knowledge, fearless knowing. It moves forward because it knows. There's no hesitation. It disposes of nonsense. It filters and allows only purity through. Make bundles of the herbs you choose and then wrap the bundles around the end of the broomstick. You can use a natural twine, yarns, or ribbons. Now, you can also put other items into the bristle end of the broomstick because remember, we're not cleaning with this. We're clearing energy and it can flow and be beautiful. I might use a couple of feathers. Use only feathers that you find on the ground dropped by living birds. You do not want feathers from dead birds. This can add the energy of flight, speed, connection, and communication, motion, and travel, and change. Once a hawk dropped a feather right in front of me as I was driving down the road. She flew over me and just dropped it. Magical. Bells. A jingly bell or two will help break up stale energy and chase away negative vibes. So put some bells in your broom. Flowers. Use fresh or dried flowers that match the energy of the goal, including blossoms from the same herbs and or tree that you use to make the rest of the besom, or entirely different ones to add new layers of energy. Flowers also add visual beauty and scent to the besom. Essential oils. Adding a few drops of any essential oil with properties that match your goal adds more fragrance into the mix, and this is fragrance that will last a long time. Ribbons. Choose ribbon colors that match the magical goal. You can also draw symbols, runes, or words on the ribbon to represent your desire. Yet another way of manifesting, turning the thought into words and symbols. Sweetgrass. A braid of sweetgrass will call forth helpful spirits and energies. Dollar bills. If you have a couple to spare, not too many of us do right now, they can go into the broom's bristles as well, because like attracts like. Now, as you put it together, the entire time you're working on this project indoors, there should be incense burning or oils in a warmer filling the space with their energies. And the entire time you are working on this project indoors, there should be music filling your space with energy. Now, when you're outdoors, the outdoors has its own music and its own scent. The entire time you are working on this project, indoors or out, you should be vibrating in tune with source energy and with the gods themselves, with your inner being and your soul, which is itself divine. Your focus is on the goal. What energy will this besom spread throughout your beautiful space? What old, worn-out energies will those energies displace and dispel? What beautiful flow will this besom's magic open up and crank up to full power for you? These things should be foremost in your mind the entire time you craft this happy little broomstick. This is how we charge a tool for magical use, by filling it with our intent. Once your besom or any other magical tool is created, the tradition of magical practitioners from the dawn of time is to cast a circle, invoke the energies of the elements, call forth the divine, and then carry the tool around the circle, presenting it to each quarter to introduce the new tool to earth, air, fire, water, spirit, and then to God and Goddess. One generally asks each of those entities to bless the tool with their gifts to help it do its work. And here you need to know and say what that work will be. And then immediately use the besom for that purpose. Brush it across something. For example, if I make a besom specifically to bless the release of a new book, I would brush the besom across a copy of the book, if I have one before release day, or over a printed image of the cover if I didn't. A step not to be forgotten, enchantment. The root word of enchantment is chant. Chant can be a noun, a poem, or a verse meant to be spoken rhythmically. That's a chant. Or a chant can be a verb, as in to chant, the act of chanting. Either way, it requires words, or at least sounds. When we enchant something, we speak our will and our intentions into it. The chants we chant then are magic words. We ought to write our enchantment, our words, at the very beginning of the besom project. That way we can sing or recite it at each point while we're gathering our branches and our herbs, and while we're putting them together, and while we're twisting the twine around them, and again, each time we use the tool. You might write something, for example, like this. Magic besom, tool of flight, filled with magic, air, and light. Maple wood to make you go. Rosemary makes goodness grow. Lucky clover brings the green. Blessings flow from the unseen. Sassy mint to give you spark. Warm the cheeks and bright the heart. Bells break up the stuck and stale. Besom blasts them like a gale. Wise old sage then knows the way for wealth to flow and grow and stay. And so I say, and so I see, and so I will, so mote it be. Tip: if you give your words a melody, they'll be easier to remember. So if you try this project, be sure to share a photo of your besom with me in the comments section when you finish it. Share your chant and ingredients too if you feel like it. And please take just a moment before you go to tap the like or the thumbs up button at the top of the page. Give the post a share with someone you think might enjoy it. And make sure you're subscribed so you get notice of each new post. You can subscribe for free. Thanks so much for being here. And I'll see you next time.
And now a word from our sponsor.